Good evening, friends. Welcome to this edition of the Mystery Wine Blind Tasting. It's a Thursday evening in the balmy month of May, which is why we're wearing sweaters here in Virginia. For those that are joining us from further afield, this is Virginia weather in a nutshell. I'm really excited this evening to be joined by Hannah, one of our team members here at Field & Main, making a wonderful contribution by way of service, but also by way of the wine program. She has a tremendous amount of wine experience in her background and brings that to bear on our program now, for sure. And so she's going to be in the hot seat a little bit with me this evening and with all of you. So we're going to benefit a great deal from hearing Hannah's perspective on our mystery wine process. She's going to imbue tonight's tasting with a little bit of her own process, one that she has explored with the Court of Master Sommeliers and the WSET program and other restaurants.
Yep.
So welcome, Hannah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's exciting. So if you're joining us, please let us know. Dean and Bobbin are here, whereas they do each and every month. We really greatly appreciate their consistent presence. Hi to you guys. Anyone else joining us tonight? I have a feeling that the Kubitskis will be joining us in a moment if they get connected up, as they are downstairs.
Yay.
In one of the cabanas, which is wonderful. Hello, you guys. Great to have you
Hi.
tonight. We have a little red number,
Yes.
so others will begin to chime in as we get going. Hey, Kristen and Johnny, great to have you this evening. Wonderful to have you here. Dean says to say hello.
Hey.
Ooh, I'm getting ahead of myself because the aroma on this one jumps
Yeah.
out right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
So, but as is the tradition, we'll start with what we see visually first, work our way, of course, through sort of a nasal evaluation, and then work our way into taste, looking for, first and foremost, what it's not, in order to help us dwindle down to maybe what it is. Kim and Leon, hey guys,
Hey.
how are you? This is excellent. We have sort of the bar contingent now on tonight, where Leon and Kim are always in the bar, and so are Dean and Bobbin. It's a wonderful thing. Sarah's
Yep.
verifying
Correct.
that
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
one that is
It's a sniffer.
awesome. Oh, and actually in the bar this evening, Dory and Larry are here. Hey guys, welcome.
Hey.
How are you? Medium purple. Yep, jumping right, helping us guide the conversation. Thank you, Sarah. So for sure, you're looking for color, right? So what do you, when you are tasting in the context of the Court of Master Sommeliers, what is it that you're looking for first? Or what is it that you're approaching the wine for?
Yeah. I mean, sight is definitely an important component of evaluating the wine. Typically in those exam situations, you are timed. So it's often advisable to not spend too much time looking at the wine, but some key factors that you can tell just by looking at the wine are the age of the wine, by way of if the color is vibrant or if it's fading. If it's fading, it's going to be a bit of an older wine typically. The opacity of the wine, is particularly with reds, when you can read the page under the glass, or in my case, I'm looking at my hand and I can see my fingers through the wine, that would indicate that it's typically a thinner skinned, less concentrated wine. Whereas if you could not read the page underneath you and it was completely blacked out, it would be a thicker skinned grape like Cabernet Sauvignon, for example.
Well, we're not pressured by time, which is
Yeah.
wonderful, so we don't have to speed through this, but the same kind of ideas hold relative to learning from the appearance of the wine, right? The
Sure.
appearance gives us a lot about the wine before we even smell or taste it. You can tell a whole bunch. We were talking about this before we went live, of course, and we've talked about this many times as a group, but you know, we already know that this is not rosé, this is not sparkling, and it's not white.
Yep.
So half of the world of wine is at least out already,
Yeah.
making it that much easier for us to come to some more educated perspective on what this wine might be. You're having a little trouble with the comments. I'm sorry to hear that for sure. Others are saying to refresh. Maybe it's a Facebook setting. I'm sorry to note that for sure, and I'm not sure if I can tell you more than what Kristen shared. Barbara and Jed are here with her friends, Kat, Allison, and Emma. Well, good evening to everybody. Barbara, it's great to see you, and Jed, of course, lovely to have you on. So yes, looking at this wine, we're also looking for this swirl effect and it going in kind of tandem with the idea that if it's lighter, it might be a lighter skinned grape. If it's lighter skinned grape, it might be growing in a cooler climate. Might not be, but generally speaking, if you have a really rich wine with great deal of opacity and you swirl it and it creates a rim at the up top portion of where the swirl goes and then starts to form, these tears run down and then they steady and form legs. And do they do that slowly? Do they do that in a way that it forms a leg that holds itself? And if so, a slow moving tear and a firmly formed leg is indicative of a little bit more richness, of a potential use of sugar in one way or another, either residual or in more alcohol, and thus riper profile. So,
see, someone noted some feedback on my mic. Maybe it's a little too close. I'll try putting it further
down,
away. Yeah.
And or maybe it's just not meant to
Go
have
really
two.
far away.
So, is that better? Let us know.
Is that better? Yeah.
And the refresh worked. Oh, great, Dean, I'm glad to hear that. So it's not a Nebbiolo. Yep. It's hot on the nose and maybe a little higher alcohol. Very good. It's relatively light in color, right? Yeah, Hannah was noting she could see her hand through the wine. It's not the lightest in color, but it is definitely not the darkest in color, right? And it has a distinct clear rim. So there's a little rim variation, which might be an indication of some higher alcohol. So we would be talking, like we are often talking about with red wines, this being in that sort of middle realm. So the appearance is telling us what it's not for sure. It's not white, it's not rosé, it's not sparkling, but it's not also definitively telling us what it is. Right? The middle tier, middle realm, middle acidity, middle tannin, middle color doesn't give you enough information. But we're trying to build that profile. It's just beginning. So a minerality mustiness. That's a really nice note. So what are you smelling, Hannah?
I mean, it's really aromatic. I'm pretty far away from the glass, and I can really get a lot up here before I even put my nose in the glass. And
so why do you do that?
Well, the alcohol is what's carrying the aroma. So by kind of like exploring this like cloud area first, you'll smell things like more subtly, and sometimes you can just pick up on like little different things that you don't get when you dive straight in. Think of it as like,
do you swirl first? Or just this is like something you do no swirl?
I'm trying to remember to not swirl first. Get that little aroma up at the top and then go in deep. And then when if I'm finding that the wine is not very aromatic, like try to save my swirling for them. But I do very much have a habit of the second my hand's on the glass, just swirling. Where it is, there is kind of you do get a different perspective when you don't swirl first and you just go in as it is. But I'm trying to not swirl first. It's the habit, though, of course. But
yeah, the mineral mustiness is interesting, isn't it? And what else? So we're always looking for a few things: fruit, earth, and wood. And from the fruit side, do you pick up anything particular, guys? Barbara and Jed and folks are saying it's not a Pinot Noir, right? Probably not. I mean, it's not a leading contender. Nebbiolo probably not a leading contender here, so that's helpful. There's what kind of fruit are you picking up? There's a non-fruit flavor or note that I'm picking up for sure.
I'm really getting some pretty like very ripe, juicy, like almost overripe strawberry and raspberry. That strawberry that's perhaps ready to eat right now, or it's not going to be good tomorrow.
Right.
And for me, definitely some floral notes. I don't want to take away from anybody who might be commenting.
No, please fire away.
Like violet petal, hibiscus.
I like the hibiscus there, call for sure. Pomegranate, cranberry, Sarah's putting out some gentle mustiness, cherry, a slight hint of anise. I think that's right. There's a flinty. I don't know if you ever had a cap gun when you were a kid, and you fired off the cap gun, and the resulting sort of flint smell is on the nose farther away, which was a really nice technique note from you, and also like a little graham cracker for me. I like the red fruit is here. Yeah, and it's like the pomegranate and cranberry, Sarah, is it like the juice or the actual fruit where it's tart versus sort of a sweeter profile? Cherry, it's certainly red. Lots of floral coming in, violets and lilac to your point there as well. So it's pretty expressive nose.
Yeah.
So what wouldn't it be that wouldn't be an expressive nose? Like what are we able to say? We can start to target what it might be, but it's also helpful to be like, well, it's not Pinot Noir, it's not Nebbiolo. Right. What else might it not be?
Well, I wouldn't rule out Pinot Noir. I can think of some riper California Pinot Noirs,
Mhm.
or even, maybe Willamette in a warmer year. So like a warmer climate Pinot Noir, I don't think is out of the
Out of the
question,
realm,
especially
yeah.
with all that floral. It kind of brings me to that direction. But I mean, for me, I'm kind of out of Italy, at
Mhm.
least. For me, and Italian wines just have that personality where you are hungry when you're smelling it. You're ready for
Yeah.
some spaghetti meatballs,
Right.
or a little lasagna to go with it.
Not a Zin, not a Primitivo. Yeah, right. Not,
Yeah,
not
I
the
think
sort of
we're
Italian element there. We've talked about this many times where on this chat where there's a character to Spain, there's a character to Italy, and right now it's not expressing that. We don't have to come to a decision at this point.
Mhm.
We're better served if we don't, but it's from the profile standpoint, right? If a place like Italy is sort of out of the running, well, then we're not thinking about Nebbiolo, we're not thinking about Sangiovese, we're not thinking about a Corvina, something like that. And so, but we can bring that back in if that plays out throughout the rest of the tasting. So Sarah's noting again to the question, it's more candied fruit, riper fruit, more juicy fruit than just like the crunchy kind of experience of the feral or of the berry itself. And so there's dimension here, there's fruit, there's earth. How about wood? Is there any spice? Is there a profile of spice that's sort of popping out?
Not heavily for me.
Not heavily.
Yeah.
So not a particularly oaked wine. And Dean's doing a good thing, which is to say, from a blind tasting context, looking for, is there pyrazine? And if there is pyrazine, like searching for that black pepper, searching for that green pepper can really help you figure out a great potential. Are we picking up any pyrazine, folks? Pyrazine, for those that don't know, like that green bell pepper, that green character that is associated with the Sauvignon family, right? Sauvignon Blancs, the Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc in particular. Do we get any of that?
No, not for me. The fruit and the floral are driving the bus.
Yeah.
Very much so.
There's maybe a tiny bit of lignin, like stem, that exists here. Not super green, but
the strawberry top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's taste this wine, and then we're looking, of course, for what we smell actually show up on the palate, and that few element, fruit, earth, wood. Dean's playing the bottle game, which is always worthy, right? It's not a Bordeaux by way of the bottle shape, which is good. You can get in trouble with that sometimes, but typically in this case, I think you're right on there. Nose is so good, Dory. I agree. Just want to drink it. Let's do that then. I try to control myself for my first taste. I don't know how you do this, but to try to let the first impression settle, but also just to really look at taste.
Okay.
What's the acid like? What's the tannin like? Where's the alcohol? Is there residual sugar? Because if I get caught up in the flavor profile of the wine, I oftentimes miss that, or I have to go back to that, and then I'm starting to skew myself. And so looking at the tastes first, where is your alcohol at? How much tannin's there? What's the acidity like? Is there residual sugar? And helping to build that structural kind of frame, and then working on the flavor.
Right. Yeah, I would do the same. And if there is something flavor-wise that jumps out, then I try to put it in the back of your head for a moment and put it on the back burner.
So what do you guys perceive by way of the structure, the taste? Is it medium plus, high acid, medium acid, low acid? Like, does it make you salivate? Does it make you do that for 20 seconds or longer? That's kind of a pretty high acid, right? Does it has a longer finish? Does it have tannin that are knitting little sweaters for your teeth? Or does it have something that's kind of easy and silky and not so prominent? Where's the alcohol at? We smelled some on the nose, right? Is it on the retronasal, on the back end of the swallow, coming back up? Do you feel a warmth and a heat on that tannin?
No.
Not too tannic. The alcohol dominates the nose, but it doesn't overwhelm the taste. So there's more balance there, right? According to Dean and Bobbin.
Yeah.
Larry's saying not too tannic. How are you finding it?
For me, tannins I would put in that medium, maybe even like medium minus category. The alcohol is a little elevated for sure.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Yeah. It's sort of
acid's decent
there.
though. Yeah.
I'm salivating under my tongue.
Yeah.
It's persistent. The first half of the experience is sort of fruit carried, and the second half is sort of like the alcohol outpaces the race with the fruit. Fruit's still there, and it lingers a little bit, but it lingers more in a distillate way, kind of a kirsch or something.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Medium acid, medium plus tannin coming from Sarah. Yep, not too tannic on that. I think we're maybe in the medium realm of tannin. It's going to build a little bit here as we taste more, but yeah, it's not high tannin for sure. The alcohol is up there. And so, I mean, 13.5 plus, maybe 14, depending on this, which helps us to say that it's not probably German Pinot Noir, right? And so it's not that. It's probably not Beaujolais, right? It's likely not. But the tannin structure is not so heavy, and so the bigger, riper Pinot Noir, maybe. What else should we be considering? We got cranberry and cherry and strawberry, ripe versions of it, alcoholic versions of it, medicinal, like cough syrup versions of it.
Right.
So we need some warmth in place, right?
Yeah.
Where do you go?
For me, when I'm thinking not huge tannic, lots of juicy fruit, and higher alcohol, Grenache is a place I go like right away.
Agreed.
And one of my more like my first experiences with Grenache was when I worked at a wine bar that had Iberico ham. Like we had the ham leg on the bar, and we would do slices and do it by the ounce. And Grenache with Iberico is delightful.
Heavenly.
And sometimes I think I'm like, would I want this with ham? And I would have this with a nice salty piece of ham. It'd be like a really fun, the juicy fruit with that salty, nutty.
So using a particular food set pairing to see if you can help reference to find the wine that way. That's a very interesting way to approach it. Yeah, I love it. It has a metallic on the top of the palate. Yeah, it has a metallic element here. And I think that's part of the alcohol carrying it, maybe. There's a little of that astringency that I picked up on the nose just faintly. There's some of that on the back end here too, where maybe there's a little stem element. So Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, Syrah getting a little whole cluster element, something press that would give you a little bit of that greenness. But okay, if we're saying Grenache, what else should we be talking about, folks? And if we're saying Grenache, where are we in the world?
Well, we could be southern France. We could certainly be in Spain. But we could also be in California, Australia. Probably, I'd imagine there's some Grenache production in Chile and Argentina. I would track, but probably not somewhere cooler like Willamette or Washington State. Yep. Yeah, that could be an option.
Some of that higher alcohol element. Sarah's note's a fun one relative to a less common Rhone varietal, like Cunoise, perhaps, which is cool. Syrah, Dean, I think it's in the running. I'm not so like when we say Syrah, then we should go searching for some pepper, right? Do we get black pepper? Do we get that sort of sweaty meat, that ham hanging out, kind of sweating, but more salami element or smoked meats in particular? Do we pick that up? But you know that like you're looking for pyrazine before in order to hunt for kind of a character for Cabernet Franc or Cabernet Sauvignon, perhaps. Or Carmenere is a great example of where pyrazine just shines through. Syrah's going to have some of that pepper, perhaps. And do we pick that up? By virtue of suggestion, almost always do, which is the problem. So you got to be really discerning here. But I want to find a little cracked black pepper right now, so I'm not sure that that's fair. But
I'm still not really finding a lot of pepper. Not like the savory realm isn't coming out for me here.
No, it's more about that fruit, concentrated fruit.
Yeah.
And at the same time, though, it's not just fruit bomb. There is an intrigue of some of that. I mean, it's partly that alcohol. There's something else that's hanging out underneath that's a little bit savory. Yeah. Without it being prominent, for sure.
That green savory?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
You got anything else up there? How about you guys? Where are you at with this? White pepper coming through for Dean and Bobbin. Cherry cola, absolutely. Cherry cola for me is always kind of like Shiraz, partly from Australia. You can play there. Petite Syrah can play there,
Okay.
but not exclusively. A suggestion of pepper, but no meatiness. Yeah, GSM I think is a fair bit to consider for sure right now.
Yeah.
But more maybe, I mean, like Spanish Garnacha?
Maybe, yeah.
Warm Spanish Garnacha. This is hot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's just something about it that gives me a more New World feeling where it's just fun and fruity and would be good with food, but would be fine without food.
Right. I think it's the maybe a touch of wood that's coming out for like a graham cracker element for me. There's like this toasted grain. It's not prominent. It's not 100% new wood. It's not a signature of the wine for sure. They're already saying a lighter Rhone profile. So Southern Rhone, Grenache blend, Spanish Garnacha blend, Australian Garnacha blend with Shiraz maybe. You want to go California? Are you taking it over that way?
I don't know if I've still wrote out like a warm
Pinot.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, even like a warm vintage Willamette Pinot. I mean, I know you said cherry cola takes you to
Russian River.
But what you said, I think it takes you to Shiraz, but for me, it takes me to like Russian River or
Pinot.
Warmer somewhere-ish Pinot.
Central Coast.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that cola part's cool. There's a cola part here for sure.
The thing that is kind of leading me a little more Pinot than Grenache is, for me, Grenache is red and black fruit, and I'm not getting a lot of black fruit here. And I might even expect more alcohol from like a warm Spanish Grenache, or even a Côte de Rhone might even be like a little bit higher alcohol. But again, it's still like an option for me. I haven't written Grenache off, but I'm kind of leaning Pinot.
Ripe
We're a friend
Pinot.
of Pinot. Like
very ripe Pinot.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the tannin structure is not there. There is no blue character. If we had blue element, then I'd be pushing Grenache too.
Right.
Like a blueberry note, which oftentimes you find with something that is presenting this right from Grenache. Yeah, that's fair. If we were on a lighter sort of sandy soil Grenache, it would be much redder and much crunchier, kind of actual fruit character. This isn't that.
Okay.
Right? And so is it Mencia? Is it something that has another place in the world that would give us that lightness and some richness? Ribera Sacra kind of.
That's a thought, yeah.
Yeah, Dean, for sure, some Grenache. Grenache is one of those tough grapes from a blind tasting standpoint.
Right.
It can span the lightest Pinot Noir profile to like the biggest Cabernet profile.
Right.
And everything in between, depending on where it's grown, the climate, and the soil type. There's a little less choice of winemaker in the Grenache. They're more like you have to make what's given you by the place. You don't get to manipulate as much, but I don't know. What else should we consider? Where else in the world, guys? Where do you want to start kind of throwing your flag? California Merlot or Pinot? Yep, Sarah's there. We're at 23 minutes as well, which is sort of witching hour we've experienced every single wine tasting, where pouring a little bit more also indicates a change in the wine typically too, as it's had a good moment to settle. It's more pronounced on the cola. It's more pronounced on that sort of ripe fruit. It isn't a fruit explosion. It's definitely just full fruit. But it's carrying it. It's not expressing. South American Malbec. Yeah, I would perceive more of that blue element and like some deeper, riper, and maybe a little bit more structure, but.
I mean, I wouldn't write it off as like a lighter, somebody going with like a maybe even stainless steel light Malbec style.
That's fair.
But playing that bottle game, I would expect that to be in a
bigger bottle.
Yeah.
So Kristen's going more old world while you're going a little bit more new world. We've got South American Malbec, possibly California Merlot or Pinot. We've got Spanish Garnacha. Old World and Eliminated Italy doesn't remind me of Spanish wines. That's where Dean's headed,
Yeah.
so going with France. So Southern French. Yeah, I don't. Southern France is possible, but maybe not the Rhone, right? So heading a little bit further south, Languedoc, and getting into that sort of that confectionery sweetness of the fruit does sort of pull you out of Europe in a touch. I'm trying to reconcile that gram part.
Yeah, the gram. I'm not getting that. So I can, if I think of it, if it's because I'm thinking of it, I can kind of get it, but it didn't jump out to me. I'm still just kind of hung up on that, like that candied strawberry, that really floral hibiscus violet petal is what my brain has gone to there.
Yep. Okay, so let's recap, right? So we're here at this point. We went through the visual. The visual gave us substantial tiers that move swiftly but steadily and form a leg that's maintaining there. There's a rim variation on this sort of deeper red kind of profile, but it's not something that you can you can see through. And so it's not the richest thing. So something that provides weight without it being heavy, hot with a little bit of alcohol. We're talking 13.5, 14% probably, and reddish character from the fruit. A little bit of maybe a woody note in the way of my gram element here. There's floral notes all over it. The fruit continues to be more and more expressive. It's not fading away at all. So a riper, warmer spot, something like the Russian River, which Dory's throwing out there, is absolutely appropriate in this context. And so we're maybe a lighter skinned grape typically, but in a ripe expression place? Or are we a ripe expression place with a medium weight wine coming as a result, a grape that would be there? So we're talking about Merlot, Malbec, Garnacha, Grenache, Pinot Noir. Counoise was thrown out as well, the Rhone varietals. Sarah saying maybe one of the blending grapes grown outside of the Rhone. California grows a decent amount of Rhone, so like a Rhone Ranger expression from the Central Coast is a fun idea.
I think I've had a single varietal Counoise once, and it was hard to find, and it was not cheap.
Yes.
And
yes,
but I do remember it being lighter, like very, very light and savory.
So not quite as fruity.
But again, I've only had it once, and it was one,
right.
That I recall.
So California, for example, or Washington perhaps, but California would be probably the leading contender for a Rhone expression, New World, interesting varietal, something like Counoise or Carignan or Sanso maybe. I mean, Carignan's an interesting play here on the riper side. And not very old. Dean's certainly pointing that out. I agree. It's 5 years or less. It's in the sort of 3 to 5 year, 2 to 5 year range. Okay. Are you going to go Pinot Russian River?
I'm definitely Pinot, and I'm definitely New World. But I don't know, something in my gut wants to still say Willamette, like a warmer subclimate and a warmer vintage. And I don't know my vintages super well for Willamette, but a hot recent vintage in Willamette.
Okay. Goes really well with the breadboard here, which has a culantro butter right now, which is very good. Nice. I'm glad to hear that, Dory. Thank you. What? Where else do you want to plant your flag? So she's going Willamette Valley, 2 to 4 years old, fresh, ripe vintage, warm vintage expression. I think it's a bit too warm and hot for me to go there. But I like the Russian River call. This is like a Syrah that has a little bit, like a Pinot Noir that has a little bit of Syrah kind of profile to it. And so Central Coast, potentially like Edna Valley kind of thing. But the Russian River makes sense. So Julie says Cali Merlot. Cool. So Merlot kind of playing out that right. Dave, you don't know the wine today, so you can't sit and snicker. You have to put out an actual guess as well. Dory's saying not Willamette, so we're going to be disparate this evening, which is fine, which is good. Who else? Dean's going to stay with the Rhone, Southern Rhone part. Grenache kind of led. Cali Syrah. Cali Syrah is a good guess. I mean, there's quality here where the ripeness might just be overshadowing varietal character relative to that pepper and that kind of meatiness. That happens. And I have to just think for a half moment if I'm still in Australia. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'd get like a juicier fruit element, even though this is pretty juicy. There's just like, this is like a thin profile, very juicy fruit with alcohol like carrying it. And so I'm going to go Russian River. I'll do Russian River Pinot. Well, it wasn't 2020, and so 2023.
Yeah, that's a 1 year.
Yeah. Cali Syrah, Rhone Blend, Willamette Pinot, not Willamette Pinot, Merlot. We are all over the map. That's kind of fun. At 31, 2023 Cali Pinot, 2023.
It's New Zealand.
If it's New Zealand. She just came back from New Zealand, so if it's New Zealand, it's not fair, and we're going to be really fighting.
Oh, look at that.
What is this? Coteau du Pont du Gard. So, Vigneron, very cool. They got to see how this. This is Avignon and Nîmes. So this is Rhone. Good job.
Nice.
Nice job, Dean. The Gard River, gentle road blend offers the palate. Delicious cherry and prune. Yes, yes. It matches perfectly with roast chicken or our breadboard. It says that on the back of the label. It's amazing. Wow. So this must be Grenache.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well done. We were there and then we walked away from it a little bit, but that's fun. Cool. I've never ever had this appellation before.
No,
you?
no.
Nope. That's cool. So if you're on the computer and you can look up where, what is the blend for Coteau du Pont du Gard? It's a lot of do's. This is brought in by Well Crafted. Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah. 13.5% alcohol, though, guys. This is not as high as we expected, or they're just printing every label at 13.5, and we're talking about 14.5.
Yeah.
So cool, right, Dory? Rhone Ranger.
Nice.
Nice, yeah. So that's fun.
Congrats on the Rhone gases.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well done on the Rhone side. This is neat. So this is a lesser known Rhone appellation, but in the Southern Rhone, and that's fun. I like it. I like the profile. It's fruity and fun. And this is part of what we've talked about many times before relative to the idea that it's difficult today to pick out Old World and New World.
Yeah.
It is ripe red fruit with Rhone character, but not like a ton of Rhone character enough to say that it couldn't also be California, right? Or couldn't be Argentina. And it's certainly a wine you want to continue to smell, which then invites you to drink another glass. And if you have one left, enjoy it. The beauty of this evening continues next month, but I'll be stepping out as I'll be in Italy and Hannah will be here. So she will lead you through the next blind tasting. I picked the wine. I'm going to be the one watching all of you and laughing. No, I won't be laughing. I'll just be having a great time. And she'll be guiding you through that selection. It's also red. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
But that's where I stop.
Don't make it too tough.
I'm not making it any more easy than that. So she will be with you to do that. I will look forward to chiming in and checking you out. But until then, see you in the restaurant.
Cheers.
See you here.
Cheers.
Cheers. 60 Grenache, 30 Syrah. Thank you for that, Johnny.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah, so we picked up some Syrah character, but it wasn't totally Syrah. We picked up Grenache character. There we go. Yes, she will have a ton of fun guiding you. Behave yourself, Dean. Behave yourself. No, you always do. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Bye.
Cheers.